10-foot TV versus personal devices. So.
Sure. And this sort of ties in, as we sort of go through this, I'll talk a little bit about some of the metrics. One of the metrics we find interesting is that the 10-foot device, and this sort of is also consistent with industry analysis as well, the 10-foot experience is really often a shared experience. It's also an experience where people are likely to spend more time. In other words, they'll actually sit in front of a 10-foot experience for a longer period. So what we find in our analytics and our metrics is people tend to use a mobile device perhaps as frequently as a 10-foot experience, but for shorter durations. So the overall viewing period or time that a person watches a mobile device, it tends to be less than the 10-foot experience. We've also gotten from a UX design perspective, there are quite a lot of differences now. From a service delivery perspective, from a training, from a marketing and selling to your customers, you want to have your brand consistent. You want to have service consistent. But that also then creates some challenges when you come to a 10-foot experience versus a mobile experience, an experience that you work with a remote control versus an experience you use with a touch screen. We even see differences even within the personal device, that Android users and Apple users, there tend to be sort of shortcuts, nuances, gestures that are relevant in Apple that are not replicated always in Android, and the same the other way around. So when we come to build a user experience, on the one hand, we're looking at things that have consistency, consistency of brand, consistency of experience, consistency of features and functions. But you also then have to think about, does an Apple user, who uses Apple for many things in their home, that's their phone, their tablet, find this application comfortable in that platform? Does an Android user, does a Fire Stick user? So those are other considerations that come in from a UX design. So we're not just building a UX that says this operator wants to offer TV, but we want to make sure that when the user accesses that app to get to the TV, the app feels simple, intuitive, comfortable on the platform that they are used to. So there's quite a lot of differences then in the overall experience for those two things. And I would probably say then web sort of somewhat sits in the middle, depending on how it uses it and so on. So it's got usually a cursor, a mouse type interface, and sort of depending on the size of your screen, it can be somewhere between a tablet and a 10-foot experience. But those are considerations that are important when you build the UX.
Thank you. And I do have to ask, how often do you find yourself watching on your phone? Often?
Me personally, I would watch a lot, but remember, I'm in the industry, so I watch TV an awful lot because I'm always if it's not looking at features and functions, it's reacting and responding to customer feedback. So a customer will say, I like this, I don't like that. So my first reaction is, I'll say, okay, let me see what it looks like. Let me see, follow that pattern. I'm always, as our entire team is, we're almost always got TV on because we are part of, the overall support team. We're always looking for, impairments, issues, whatever. So I would not say I'm a representative of that. I do say my wife, who is a much more perhaps representative of a traditional user, she pretty much exclusively uses more of a set-top box type experience. So she is definitely 10-foot experience. She knows what she watches, she knows when it's on, and she expects that sort of immersive experience.
Yeah. For me, I'm definitely not so much a set-top box, but like the Amazon Fire Stick, for sure. But I definitely don't watch my phone, like pull up the content and watch my phone. But then I've got the two kids at home, and that's all. I mean, you rarely find them turning a TV on to watch anything. Everything's on their phone. So yeah, I had to ask.